Hey there, welcome to Community. My name's Tony, and it's so great to have you with us today. If this is your first time joining us, the band is going to kick things off for us in just a minute. Lyrics will be up on the screen so you can engage with the music however you'd like. Sit or stand, however you feel most comfortable. After that, one of our pastors is going to share a message with us. All in all, the service will last for about an hour. If you're new, make sure you head down to the black table in the corner of the cafe on your way out. We've got something just for you. If you're joining us online, wherever you're joining from, thanks for making Community a part of your weekend. Last thing, if you're in the building with us, we've got some awesome programs happening downstairs for your kids. They're safe, secure, and your kids are bound to have a blast. You've still got time to check them in. If you head down to the big blue wall in the main entrance, you can check them in there. And with that being said, we're gonna get started here in just a moment. So find your seats if you haven't already. Here we go.
Good morning, Community Church. We're going to do some singing. You're invited to dance and join us.
You never break. I know the night won't last. Your word will come to pass. My heart will sing your praise again. Jesus, you're still enough. Keep me within your love.
so much for singing with us.
All right, how's everybody doing today? So great to be together again. My name is Lou, and this is my friend and wife, Allie.
Allie? If this is your first time with us, we are so happy that you're here. If you're comfortable letting us know, the easiest way to do that is by filling out a Connect form, and you can do that in one of two ways. One, you can scan the QR code and go to the Connect page, and if you fill it out there, we'll send you a little gift in the mail, or you can talk to someone in person by going to one of the I'm New tables. There's one right outside of these doors, one downstairs in the cafe. There's a friendly face there who would love to talk to you, answer any questions that you have, and they have a little gift for you there as well. But I have a question for you,
Okay.
Lou. All right, here's my question. One, what's going on with these shirts, our Dunk Team shirts? But more importantly, where is your black long sleeve shirt that we are used to seeing you in?
It's underneath the Yellow Dunk Team shirt. Today is one of the most exciting days of the year. We're having a beach baptism service at Venetian Shores. It's going to be at 6 p.m. tonight. For those of you who don't know, we believe that baptism is an outward expression of the internal decision to follow Jesus. We're not celebrating the progress that someone has made. We're celebrating the direction that they're headed. And so if you decide to follow Jesus, we would love for you to get dunked tonight at the beach at 6 p.m. But I want to tell you a story real quick, all right? So a few years ago, we had one of our first beach baptism services, and someone who was considering getting baptized approached me right before the service started at the beach. And he said, hey, I want to do this, but I don't know if I'm ready. And so I asked him, I said, have you decided to follow Jesus? Do you believe that Jesus is who he said he was and that he did what he said he would do? And he said, yes. And I said, have you decided to follow him? Meaning, do you let his direction determine your decisions? And he said, yes. But I've got doubts. I've got issues. I've got struggles. I've got habits I haven't broke. And he said, I just feel so unworthy. And I looked at him and I was like, it sounds like you're ready to me. Like, this is what it's all about. So much of this is about embracing God's undeservable, inexhaustible love for you. And so if you're someone who's decided to follow Jesus, but you've still got issues and you've still got some doubts, we believe that your doubts don't discredit your faith. We've all got issues, we've all got struggles. And so we would love for you to come get baptized tonight. I think it'd be a really meaningful experience for you. I think it'd be an important step in the development of your faith. And you don't have to have it all together to get baptized. So we've got people all around the building with yellow Dunk Team shirts on. If you go talk to them, just let them know you want to get baptized, you decided to follow Jesus, we'll get you signed up for tonight. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a very informal, casual service. You can bring a beach chair, bring a towel. It's going to be short. There's not a lot of talking. We're really just celebrating the people that go in the water. And so we're starting at 6 p.m. If you'd like to sign up online, you can go to our Connect page, communitychurch.net/connect, and let us know there you want to sign up or you want to join us, or you can just show up tonight and let us know on the spot that you want to get in. So that's tonight. It's exciting. Can't wait. It's going to be a blast. And we'd love to see you there, whether you're getting baptized or not.
That's
Allie?
right. That's right.
Yes.
There is something else coming up soon.
Equally as exciting. Go ahead.
Yes, sure. I think for some people, maybe. It's the summer cleanup day. So, woo, yeah, that's right. That's right. On August 1st from 9 to 11 a.m., this is for you if you like cleaning, organizing, fixing things, just jumping in wherever it's needed. I'm making this sound really thrilling, but no, it is good. We would love to see you there if you like and enjoy those things. There's also going to be some coffee and snacks to kind of get everybody going. So if that sounds like something that you want to be part of, you can sign up on the Connect page.
Last thing, we have a building to clean, and we're able to celebrate baptisms the way that we do because there are people all around you, people in this room, who have decided to support the mission of their church financially. Some people do it as an expression of gratitude. Other people do it really as an expression of faith, as a way to learn to trust God with their finances. And if you'd like to do that, you can go to communitychurch.net/give.
So that's it for us. In just a minute, Tom will be up to continue the series Written and Illustrated. So here we go.
Wow. Yes, I know how to sit. Thank you so much. My name is Tom. I'm one of the pastors here at Community Church, and we are in part 3 of a message series called Written and Illustrated. And to help you understand what the whole of this series is about, I'd like to talk about my kids for a moment. So I have 2 children, Nathan, who's 10, and Amelia, who is 6. And sometimes, as if you're a parent, if you've been a kid, you would know, there's times where discipline is necessary. It's not always fun or comfortable, but you have to just do it. You just got to do it because kids need structure. So recently, in this last week, my kids were doing things they shouldn't have been doing, not doing the things they were supposed to be doing, making up stories, not telling the truth, whatnot. So I was trying to explain to them, okay, look, here's what happens. When you do the wrong thing, it's not just like breaking a rule. There's something that happens to the relationship between all of us. That there's something lost, something gets broken a little bit. And what I wanted them to feel is that there's a cost to this. Now, it's important that they don't just think, okay, there's a rule and I gotta follow it because mom or dad says so. Like, I want them to feel there's something more at stake. There's a reason for that. And so just to help them understand that idea, that there's a cost to it when they break a rule. I try to think of something that could help them understand that idea. I wanted to move from just being a thing that's here to here, because I want them to think about that the next time they're tempted to break a rule. Does that make sense? Okay. So I was like, okay, I need to find a way for them to feel that. So I was like, what I want you guys to do right now is go and give me $100 each. Now, I thought this was a good idea. What I thought was gonna happen was my kids are gonna be like, what? That's crazy, that's so much money, why would, and that's not what happened at all. What happened was tears, immediate waterfalls of tears. One of them was like, I will do my chores every day for the rest of my life. I've been saving this money for this, and I was like, oh no. And I look at my wife and she's looking at me like, you did this, you better get yourself out of it kind of situation. And I was like, oh, I thought this was a good idea. So what I told him was like, look, you don't have to give me the $100. What you need to do is save that $100. Because there's gonna come a day where you need to go to therapy because of this. And there's a copay. You're gonna use that $100. What I was hoping to do was have them feel. They felt so much so that it kind of backfired. But my point isn't take parenting advice from me. That's not my hope. My point is this technique of helping somebody feel something is useful. It actually is very, very useful. This is what Jesus would do, I'll admit, way better than me, with his audience. He would tell stories about things people were familiar with to help those people in his audience to feel something about something they did not yet know. He would use stories that would engage people's emotions to move things from here to here, because he wanted them to not just know rules for rules' sake. He wanted them to feel something about the stuff that he was teaching them. And he would tell stories. We call them parables. Now, these stories, the topic he most often addressed was how to live differently, how to live as if God himself were your king. In other words, he would talk about something called the kingdom of heaven, or the kingdom of God. And the idea behind that wasn't that heaven was just the destination after this life. It's the thing that comes after that we all want to get to. He's like, heaven has always existed, and will always exist. And what's wild is that if you follow me, if you learn from me, if you let how I live and how I treat you transform you, it'll transform how you treat others. And the way in which you treat them will bring more of the realities of heaven to earth. Like the best things that you can experience in this life are heavenly things. When there's trust, when there's community, when there's belonging, when there's hope, when there's security. Those things are heavenly. And we can bring those things to earth by the way you live. And he would tell stories about the kingdom of heaven. He'd say the kingdom of heaven is like, the kingdom of God is like, to help them understand, okay, I can connect these dots not just cognitively, but also emotionally. And he was very good at it. And so we've been looking at some of these stories in this series. And we'll be looking at another one today. But before we get to that story, I kind of want to set it up with the following. Imagine for a moment, and if you are a working person, hopefully this is the case for you, that you're employed. Imagine you're employed. That's a great thing, right? Now, if you're retired or you're currently between jobs, just go with me. Imagine you have a job right now, and somehow you know ahead of time. Maybe you get an email that you weren't supposed to get. Maybe a coworker informed you. Maybe you overheard a conversation, but you know you're going to be fired. And it's going to happen at the end of your shift, and you got like 4, maybe 5 hours left in your shift. How are you going to handle that? What are you going to do with the remainder of that shift? Now, I'll admit, I think there's some people here that are really great people. You'll be like, I'm just going to work because that's what you're supposed to do. And you know what? You're better than me. Good on you. Others of us, they're like, there's no chance I'm just going to work. I'm going to stare blankly at the wall and think of all the dreadful things that I have to deal with now that I'm going to be jobless. Others of us might be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to work on my resume. I'm going to take this time and polish up my resume or make one for the first time so that when all this is said and done, I can like put my name out there and try to get a job. Maybe you'll take some people's names down, be like, maybe they can be leads to help secure a job for later. Others of us are like, there's no chance I'm going quietly. I'm going to set this place on fire. Not literally, but like I'm going to be like, get on the intercom and be like, hey, did you know that Deborah, ... You're filling in all the people in on like her life and what she did wrong and all this stuff, right? Here's what I know for sure. Whichever way you go, chances are pretty good. Those 4 hours or so are going to be different. You're going to do things differently because you know the end is coming, right? The story that Jesus tells is about a guy in that same kind of situation. His employment is about to be over, so he acts quickly. He acts decisively. He also acts unethically. And then Jesus has something very important to say about that guy. And that's the story we're going to be looking at. So we're going to jump right into it. This comes from the Gospel of Luke. Luke was not one of Jesus' initial 12 followers, not his 12 students. He was friends with some of them. And he decided, I need to keep an orderly account of the things that Jesus said and did. And so he put these stories together. He put the life of Jesus together. We call it a gospel. It means good news. You can look at it as like a biography. So we're going to look at the biography of Jesus according to Luke. This is chapter 16. So we're going to jump right in. Jesus told his disciples, his followers, right? Not the crowds, not the fans, not the people just kind of interested, the devoted followers. He says, hey, there was a rich man whose manager was accused of wasting his possessions. He's like, imagine a situation where there's a rich guy. That's easy. Imagine this rich guy is so rich that he has to hire somebody just to take care of his stuff. That still works today. We know plenty of people who can hire people just to manage their assets, right? Except this guy's not good at it. Or he's shady. Or he's doing something with his stuff that like he shouldn't be doing. We don't know if he's like spending it on himself or making bad investments. We don't know. All we know is that it's being squandered. It's being wasted. So what does this rich guy do? He calls that manager in and asks him, what is this I hear about you? What's going on? Give an account of your management because you cannot be manager any longer. Like, you and I are going to have a sit down today. It'll be our last sit down. You're going to bring all the records. Show me everything. I want to know every transaction. I want to know every detail so I can know what kind of picture I'm facing here because I've heard you're not good at your job. So, the manager said to himself, like any good man at work, what shall I do now? Sorry, that's really cheesy. That's not how he said it. If you don't know, that's a song by the men at work. Who can it be now? Anyway, sorry. Let's get back to this. He was thinking to himself, like, What am I to do? Like, what can I do in this situation? My master is taking away my job. Like, this is it. I'm gonna be jobless. It means the money's gonna stop. I'm gonna be running out of money. And he realizes, wait a second, I'm not strong enough to dig. I've had a cushy job. I've been pushing paper and pens for the last 3 years. Like, I don't have the strength to be a day laborer. And I'm too proud. I'm ashamed to beg. That's beneath me. What can I do? What can I use to make something of this moment? And he says to himself, I know what I'll do, so that when I lose my job here, people will welcome me into their houses. I can set this situation up so that I don't have to be homeless. I can save my own neck. I'm going to come up with a scheme. And he does. And he only has a few hours to execute. So he goes for it. And this is what happens. So he called in each one of his master's debtors, right? The loaded guy, the rich guy. Probably people owe him money. He brings them in and he asks them, hey, how much do you owe my master? The guy responds, 900 gallons of olive oil. That is a lot of olive oil. He's big into salad, I guess. Okay, so he's like, he was probably an olive farmer. Okay, the manager, right, told him, all right, what I want you to do is take your bill, sit down quickly, and make it 450. Cut it in half. And I imagine, this part's not in the text, but it's easy to think, like, why? Why would I just cut the bill in half? Like, you don't want all the money? It's like, well, listen. And then he went all Don Corleone on him. He's like, there's going to come a day. I'm not going to do the voice. There's going to be a day where I'm going to ask a service of you. That day may come. It might be today. I'm going to be jobless. But I'm going to scratch your back. Later, you can scratch my back. And the guy's like, well, it looks like I'm going to make out great on this because now I don't owe as much as I did before. Sounds good. Let's go with that. He calls in the next guy. Same kind of thing. How much do you owe? 1,000 bushels of wheat. He told him, take your bill and make it 800. Gave him a 20% discount. The guy's like, same thing. Why? Why would I do this? He's like, listen, there's going to be a time where I'm going to need something from you. Just take this as a good sign of our friendship. He finishes with the guy. They both leave. He takes all these records. He brings them to the rich guy, the owner, the master. They sit down. The guy's going through all the paperwork. He's like, oh, yeah, that's where I lost that much money. Oh, and you did this too? Great, that looks awful. And then he gets to today, and he's like, wait a second. You've already cost me so much. And now this? If you were the rich person in this situation, how would you respond? What would you say to this guy? Like, you are incredibly bad at your job. Like, or would you be like, not only are you fired, like, I'm going to send you to prison. Like, this is ridiculous. This is so fraudulent. This is how the guy responds. It says, the master commended, praised, was impressed by the dishonest manager. Not because he was dishonest, not because of shady business dealings, not because he likes losing money. He was commended the guy because the manager had acted shrewdly. Shrewdly, not a term we use that often, but it means cleverly, with foresight, with looking ahead and making the most of the situation. He was like, oh, you have cost me so much, and you've costed me even more, but I have to admit, what you did is impressive. I can't believe you found a way to cost me more, but also somehow to save your own neck in the process. And while the manager's hearing this, he's getting like excited. Oh, he's impressed by me. He's like, and then he's like, no, you're still really very fired. Don't misunderstand. There's no chance of you working for me ever again. I'm just trying to say, I'm impressed by how you strategized. And that's the end of the story. And what Jesus is trying to get at is that the manager in this story, despite losing, respected the manager's cleverness, the strategic thinking, the resourcefulness, the taking a terrible situation with limited time and limited resources and doing something kind of impressive with what he had going on. And that's where the story ends. And then Jesus stops being the storyteller to his 12 disciples, and he starts to be the rabbi again, their teacher, their instructor, the one they follow, the one they go to. And then he makes this statement, this observation. He says, for the people of this world, which is not like a derogatory term, just means like everyone outside of my following, everyone outside of my people group, are more shrewd. They are more clever. They strategize better in dealing with their own kind, other people, than are the people of light. He's like, the folks in this world who live like everyone else, where they take care of their jobs, their households, they try to grow income, they try to like take care of their own, they're better at it than you guys are. And your work is so much more important. You're the people of light. You're the people of the kingdom. You're the people who realize we can bring heaven to earth by the way we live. And for some reason, despite knowing that, everyone else is better than we are. And then he gives them the instruction, like, here's what I want you to do. And he says, for I tell you, because you follow me, because you're my disciple, because you're my student, I want you to hear my words. Use worldly wealth. Take what you have. Take what is just inherently not good in and of itself. Your money, your stuff, your time, your positions, your influence. Just take what you have to gain friends for yourselves, right? Like this goes back to the guy making friends with the, by giving them shady deals, right? He's like, but for you, I want you to grow relationships, value people, foster community, so that when it runs out, when it's all gone, when all of this stuff, and it does, we only have so much time, so much money, so much stuff, so much influence. When all that stuff is said and done, or we're said and done, he says, you will be welcomed, not into their houses, but into eternal dwellings. Which kind of sounds like what he's saying is, when you do this, there'll be a committee of welcomers in heaven who'll be like, yay, you made it, welcome home. Like, thanks for like being nice with your stuff towards us. And that's not what Jesus is saying. There are two key words here. There's this term, worldly, and eternal. He's like, there's regular, everyday stuff. Stuff that is finite. It's here today. Who knows it'll be here tomorrow. You can use that in such a way to produce eternal results. You can manage, leverage, invest, strategize, be clever about what you have in your hands, in your life today, to make an impact that is eternal. And this word eternal, it points right to that whole kingdom of heaven language. That we can somehow, through our actions, borrow from heaven and bring into earth by the way we use our stuff. You can make real the idea that God is king in the lives of other people by the way you manage what's in your hands. If I've made this very confusing, this is what Jesus is trying to get at. Christians, the people that follow Jesus, can use what is temporary for what lasts forever. That's what he wants for his 12. That's what he wants for anyone who considers themselves to be a follower of Jesus, a Christian. He's like, there's a way to do this. There's a way to live where you take what is temporary, what you cannot cling on to forever, your time, your money, your possessions, your influence. You can use those things to make an impact that doesn't just feed your surviving, doesn't just feed your pleasure or your enjoyment of this world, but you can use it to make a difference in the lives of people that can be felt in the forever sense, like in the kingdom sense. You're gonna bring more and more of the realities of heaven to earth, to the relationships that you have by how you use your stuff, your resources. That's incredible. And Jesus is like, yeah, and I want you to be clever about it. Be at least as clever as everyone else is about making money. You guys can be clever about this. How much more valuable and important is this work? And that's what Jesus says to you and I, that we can begin to do this. And if you're not a follower of Jesus, the invitation is also there. You can also use your stuff in such a way to make a lasting, forever kind of impact. the resources, the temporary things we're talking about are these 4 items. And maybe there's more, but it's this. It's your time, it's your money, it's your stuff, it's your influence or position. What Jesus is trying to say is like, can you find a way to use a portion of your time or the way you manage your time, the way you set up your schedule, so that it's not just about you? That it's so much more about making money or surviving. It's about bringing dignity to others. Maybe it means volunteering, not just here at Community Church. Maybe it means working in like a soup kitchen or someplace that brings value to people. Or maybe you can be a mentor or a tutor for free. Is there a way you can set up your time so that you bring what is heavenly into somebody's life? When it comes to money, it's not just like, can you just donate to great causes? That's awesome. Absolutely do that. But it's also, can you spend your money on others in such a way that it brings something new, something beautiful into their lives? Sometimes this is as simple as like buying a little card and making a note and giving it to somebody. Sometimes it's buying a cup of coffee or a meal for someone where it's like, oh, I can like show them the goodness of God in regular, everyday stuff. When it comes to our possessions, can you use what you have? Maybe do with less so you have more to give. But maybe can you use what you already have to bring good and invest in the forever timeline of that person's life? When it comes to influence, is there a way you can be an advocate or a voice to those who have less of a voice by your position, by the influence that you might have? That's what Jesus is after. Can you use what is temporary for what lasts forever? When I think of these lists, I think of influence. My buddy Roger, he's a pastor of Genesis Church in Medford. And there was a time where he was big, like heavy. And he went through Weight Watchers and lost weight. And they were like, not only were you successful through the program, you're a great guy. Can you run one of our like programs? And so he said, yes. And for him, it wasn't like, okay, what I'll do is I'll do this, but I'll like also work the Jesus angle into everything I do. That wasn't his point. He just approached it the same way he approaches everything. He's like, conversations and things like this are opportunities to just be a good person because of who God is in my life. And people loved him and what he did with that program. People are like, so what do you do outside of this? And he's like, oh, I'm a pastor of a church. They're like, really? And so then sometimes they'd show up. They'd show up to church and they would gain hope and purpose and community. And then they'd get baptized and then they'd volunteer and they would help to grow more of that. Not because he went out thinking, oh, what I need to do is just tell everyone and jam Jesus down into their life. It was like, no, let me use what is temporary. Let me use my influence for their good. And it turned into so much more. When it comes to stuff, I think of this man who I don't remember his name. He lives in North Carolina. My dad used to attend a thing that he would put on. This guy sold his house and bought a different kind of house. One with an enormous living room, huge. Not to be his like man cave of dreams, but to literally invite people over for Bible study. Like it was not about him. He didn't want to just like have like, oh, more room for more toys and like, well, we could have fun. I'm sure they had fun. But his whole thing was like, I want to help people like know who God is. I want them to understand who he is and that he's good, that he has he looks at people with favor. And so he bought a house where that could happen and people could sit and study. His stuff wasn't just about him and his family. It became about everyone that was not there. When it comes to money, I think of Community Church. If you don't know, we survive, like Community Church operates on the generosity of the people who make this place what it is. And so when it comes to the conversations about how we utilize the money that comes in, we deliberate, we agonize, we have long conversations about sometimes what feels like very trivial things. Things like bagels, things like coffee. Coffee is not free. Bagels, they're not donated like to the church for 100%. Like we pay for these things. Same thing if you've ever been to one of our events like Start Party, we provide a meal from Swell Taco. Now they're awesome and they see the value in it. They give us a discount, but we still have to pay. It costs something. We utilize the generosity to buy these things on purpose. It's not because we're flush with cash and there's just extra. We're like, let's get some bagels too. It's like, no, this is for us. This is on mission. This is strategy. This is about prioritizing the environment for welcoming. And this is kind of giving a little bit behind the scenes. We want to be a church for people who don't go to church. There are lots of people who have been to a church setting where they could never even think about coming in to the main space, what people would call a sanctuary, with any food. Let alone the church giving them the food to bring into the space. And that's not because we're so cool and hip, we're different, you can bring your food in. That's not it at all. It's because we want this place to be enjoyable. That's not the end in and of itself. We want you to come back. We want you to experience what we have found to be true. That God is good. That he wants good for you. And because of that, you can trust him. And that takes time. That takes repetitions of attending over and over. And if that means like there's going to be coffee stains or cream cheese on a seat, great. We'll deal with it. But this is an investment in the good, in the forever of the people who attend. When I think of time, I think of the people in my life from years ago. Turns out I wasn't always in my 40s. There was a time when I was a teenager, and Friday nights I would go to the youth group, the students program of the church I grew up going to. And every Friday, there were adults, people who had families of their own, jobs and careers. They were graphic designers, they were whatever, it doesn't even matter. But they, for some reason, would choose every Friday night to give up hours of their Friday to hang out with problematic, immature, like messy teenagers. Because for them, their time wasn't just for them. They believed that they could take what was temporary and invest it in the lives of young people, and it would make an impact that lasted forever. Not just heaven later, but heaven today. They could bring some of that belonging, some of that security that teenagers rarely have, and give it to them on those Friday nights and beyond, because they believed that this was possible. They trusted that the work they could put in would produce this kind of results. The impact wasn't just about like the Friday night, it turned into so much more than that. So when it comes to you, what comes to mind? When it comes to what you have, and I'll admit, there's times where we all feel like, I have nothing to offer. I have nothing in my hands. It feels like I'm always without. I'm always doing with less than anybody else. And hopefully, maybe God can shift our understanding, like, no, there's always something. Can we go back to the list? There's times where we don't feel like we have money or the stuff to give or even the positions of influence, but we have time. Maybe for you, it's just kindness. Is there a way you can use the warmth of your character and invest it in the good of someone else? But maybe you are a person with resources. Maybe you have money. Maybe you have stuff. Maybe you have influence. Can you use that in your households? Can you use that with your kids or your parents or your siblings? Can you use that in your workplace, whether you're the CEO or the employee? Is there a way that you can use what is already in your hands to bring more and more of heaven to earth? That is the point of the story that Jesus tells. That's the point of this whole crazy manager and the rich guy. Like, it's not about God's gonna be like, hey, you're not using my stuff properly, you're fired. That is not the point of the story. The point of the story is, hey, we have important, beautiful work to do. Let's get clever. Let's strategize. Let's be excited and think and have foresight and try to come up with these cool plans that bring more and more of heaven to people's lives. And imagine if we did this. Imagine if Christians, the people who follow Jesus, the people who are on Team Jesus, who are like the people getting baptized later, like they're public with their faith. Imagine if these people, us, live this way. Imagine if we remembered that our stuff wasn't designed just for our consumption. He's like, I don't want you living on autopilot like everyone else. Your work is so much more beautiful, so much better, so much bigger. Let's bring heaven to earth. In other words, what Jesus is trying to say to his followers is, I want you to live strategically. I want you to live like what you do matters, because it does. And that's not meant to be like, you got to think of every single possible minute of your day and use it. It's like, that's not the point. That's more pressure. He's like, think of how awesome it would be, how this community would be, how your neighborhood could feel, how your places of work could be, if just the Christians started to live beyond themselves, to invest in other people. The Apostle Paul, a guy who came after Jesus, wrote this in a letter. He said, live as wise, not as unwise. Foolish people live on autopilot. You're not foolish people. So then he writes this beautiful phrase. He says, make the most of every opportunity. Go into your conversations thinking, how can I bring more of heaven into this conversation? Go into your business dealings thinking, how can I bring more of what's truly good into this decision, into this plan? When it goes into like dealing with conflict and problems, rather than just getting what I want and thinking about me first, how can I bring more of the reality of heaven into this difficult situation? And when we do that, we change the atmosphere. Somehow God works through what is temporary, what is earthly, what is finite, and brings about what lasts forever, what is infinite, and what is heavenly. So let's aim for that. Let's pray together. Jesus, with a lot of your instruction, it's always easier to talk about than it is to do. It requires maybe not shifting occupations, but it requires shifting our approach. It requires reprioritizing things. It means maybe a little bit of temporary discomfort, but for other people's ultimate good. So God, I pray for every household where this could happen, whether it's a parent, it's a child, it's a sibling, it's a grandparent, and they're feeling like, oh, I can do this, I can give this a shot. God, I pray that you give them eyes to see creative ways to bring more of your kingdom into that household. For the people who are responsible for employment and plans and work and dealing with spreadsheets and bills and all these things that can seem like, oh, there's nothing spiritual about this at all. God, I pray that would be fine. But I pray, God, that they would see themselves as people who can bring your goodness, your values into what feels just normal, everyday stuff. Help them to leverage their temporary positions, their influence, their management roles, their leadership roles, to be a benefit to the people that are in their employ. And God, for those who are feeling like, okay, how do I do this when it comes to dealing with others in difficult situations? God, I pray that you'd give them creativity, you'd give them cleverness, you'd help them become more and more shrewd, because we can bring heaven to earth by the way we live. And I know that's capable because you said it's possible. So help us to follow in your footsteps and bring that reality into the present. We pray these things in Jesus' name.